God in the Middle, Grace Where It Still Hurts. By Dr Apostle Janice Davids. Key verse, 2 Corinthians 12, 9-10. My grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. For when I am weak, then am I strong. Grace kept a small table in the middle of her flat. Not against the wall, not by the window, right in the middle. It was a little wobbly, like her days lately. The table carried everything she didn't have hands to hold. Unopened letters, a church flyer, a half-used bottle of pain tablets, a notebook with verses, and a note that said, "Keep going." Some days, the note felt heavier than the letters. That Wednesday, the ache wouldn't quiet. Not only in her tooth, not only in her body, an ache that lived in the space between what God promised and what she could see. She made tea and sat at the table in the middle and tried to pray, to find the right words to tell God that she was still here, but also a little bit missing.
Mom, they moved the exam again.
Another delay. Another reminder that life kept happening in the middle, between plans and outcomes, between hope and headlines. Grace opened the notebook. On the first page, she had written Isaiah 43:2 in careful letters. When thou passest through the waters, I will be with thee. She underlined passest, not camp there, not drown there, pass through. She looked at the pile of envelopes, one marked final notice, one from the GP, one from an agency that had said, "We'll get back to you." She almost laughed. Everybody promises to get back to you. She pressed her palm flat on the table and whispered, "Lord, I need you to get to me." The kettle clicked off. The flat went quiet. Then the quiet started to get loud. Thoughts, memories, fears. She remembered last summer when things got better for a moment, and she thought the season had turned. She bought new notebooks for September. She told herself, this time we won't go back to panic. Yet here she was, back in the middle again, too far from the beginning to start over, too far from the end to celebrate. She opened to Psalm 34. She liked how David prayed with honesty and still found melody. Her eye caught Psalm 34:18. The Lord is nigh unto them that are of a broken heart, and saveth such as be of a contrite spirit. She circled nigh. Not later, not soon, now.
I made soup, spicy, good for you everything.
She smiled. Grace could have said, "I'm fine," but the ache won the argument. She opened the door. Mrs. Patel looked at the scattered letters and the small table in the middle, and didn't ask questions. She just set the soup down, put the kettle back on, and said, "I like your note. Keep going." Good theology. They laughed. Sometimes laughter is a translator the soul understands.
Do you pray?
Every day, and I listen. This is a good altar.
After she left, the flat felt less empty. Grace took a spoon of the soup, and another verse came to mind uninvited. Philippians 4:6-7. Be careful for nothing, and the peace of God shall keep your hearts and minds through Christ Jesus. She wrote it on a sticky note and stuck it to the salt shaker. She started sticking verses on other little things at the table, baptizing ordinary objects with holy reminders. Proverbs 3:5-6 on the back of a bill, Psalm 23:1 on the mug, 2 Corinthians 12:9 across the notebook spine. If the middle wouldn't move, maybe she could make it mean something. Her phone blinked again. A message from church. Prayer call tonight, 7:30. She grimaced. She didn't want to be the person who always needs prayer. But she also didn't want to be the person who learns to live without it. She typed, "Could you pray strength?" Then she deleted it. Then she typed again, "Could you pray presence? I don't only want out, I want you in this." The door buzzer again. This time, the post. She braced herself for more weight on the table, but one envelope was different, smaller, handwritten. Inside was a card from a sister at church. Thinking of you today. Fear thou not, for I am with thee. Isaiah 41:10. On the back, a gift card for the chemist. Grace exhaled. Not a solution to everything. Not an end to all ache. Just manna, enough for today. She made a list in the notebook. Call GP again. Send the application even if I feel underqualified. Answer my daughter with hope, not fear. Speak the word out loud at the table in the middle. She wrote a prayer beneath it. Father, I keep wanting you to take me out. Tonight, I ask you to sit with me in the middle. If the thorn won't leave, let your power rest here. Segakor 12:9. If the door won't open yet, direct my steps. Prov 3:6. If the night lingers, be my keeper. Psalm 121:5. I will not build an altar to my fear. I will build one to your faithfulness. At 7:30, she joined the prayer on mute, hand over her mouth because of the ache. More for habit than pain now. The saints prayed lines she needed but couldn't form. Someone read Lamentations 3:22-23 about mercies that are new this morning. Grace looked at the clock and smiled. God was already in her tomorrow, preparing mercies before alarms.
Mum, do you think God gets tired of us asking?
Grace thought of how her own heart felt when her child asked. No, she said. I think he gets near.
They held hands. They didn't ask for perfect days. They asked for holy ones. They didn't ask for all the answers. They asked for a lamp for their feet. They didn't ask to skip the middle. They asked to find God in it. Before bed, Grace tidied the table. The letters were still there. The ache was still there. The future still undecided. But now the table carried something else. Words that refused to move even when feelings did. She stuck one last verse under the table edge like a secret. Psalm 61:2. When my heart is overwhelmed, lead me to the rock that is higher than I. She turned off the light. In the middle of her flat, the table stood like a little testimony. And somewhere in the unmoving middle, she realized something had moved, her heart, just enough to keep going. Don't rush the middle, meet God there. If you felt him near, like this video, share it with someone who needs it, and follow for more. Comment, Grace is enough.